Hello, everyone. My name is Carissa Teeters. I am our chapter's Policy Vice President for APHASP at WSU. Today, I'm going to be talking about a guide to the Roberts Rules of Order as we have a regional policy proposal forum happening Thursday, December 10th at 6 p.m. And whenever we'd like to speak during that meeting, we need to follow these rules of order. So let's go ahead and just get started. Right off the bat, I want to talk about what exactly is Roberts Rule of Order. It's a guideline of procedure used in our sessions to keep the discussion in order and keep it fair. It's used in many settings across the nation. It's not just specific to APHAASP, so you may have seen this before, or this might be new information to you. This next part is just for fun. You certainly don't need to know it for the meeting, but it was originally outlined by Henry Martin Robert. He was in the Army and he was asked to oversee a public meeting, and it went very bad. Afterwards, he swore he would never oversee a meeting again unless there was a set of rules outlined, and so he observed other sessions across the country as he transferred around for his job and did some research through reading and eventually published the first edition of this book in 1876. And there are now 12 editions. So the Roberts Rules of Order has quite a lengthy history and has been around for quite a while. So for our purposes, the first thing we need to talk about is how we're going to be called on. And the reason this is an important first thing to talk about is because in this session, we cannot just unmute ourselves and say what we're thinking or chat in the chat box about what we're thinking or what we feel about the resolution. In order to speak in the session, we need to follow these guidelines in order to keep the session moving as it's supposed to. So if we were in person, we would normally walk up to the microphone or walk up to the microphone line and wait to be called on by the moderator. And then we'd start speaking once we were called on. So it's the same idea, but it's just now being practiced in an online setting since we need to be remote this year. For our online version over the summer, what they had us do is we would type in a specific word, a single word, into the chat box and then wait for the moderator to call on us. It sounds like we're going to be using that again this year. So we'll type a word into the chat box, wait for the moderator to call on us specifically, and then we can start talking. However, if something is changed and we're not going about it this way, the hosts will let us know at the beginning of the meeting how we need to signify we would like to speak. And then from there, it will have the same procedure. So we'll wait to be called on and then we'll start speaking. All right, so this next section is what do I say? And by this, I really want to talk about what we mean when we say these phrases. So if you are in support of a resolution, that means you like the resolution. And usually if you're going to go and talk about why you are rising in support of a resolution, we'd like you to state a reason why you like the resolution. So you'd say, I rise in support of this resolution because of XYZ. Kind of explain why you like it. Or if you are in opposition of a resolution, that means you don't like it. And same thing, you'd explain why you don't like it. If you second something, that means you are supporting a motion that has occurred. So this one can be kind of confusing, but really if a motion occurs, the moderators will ask for a second. And if you think it's appropriate, you can second it. You can type into the chat that you want a second. However, you don't need to know too much about it just because they will ask for a second if they need it. You don't have to know all the rules about that. For amendments, the resolutions have already been amended. In this meeting, we will not actually be amending anything. So that's why I have it struck out here. I just wanted to talk about it briefly for just completeness in this PowerPoint presentation. However, we will not be using this. They've already been amended. We're just talking about the resolutions as they are now. An amendment is just altering the wording of the resolution to either clarify or change the intent of the resolution. So the next part is call the question. When we call the question, that means we want to end the debate on the question at hand or the resolution we're talking about at hand. And it requires 2/3 majority vote for us to actually conclude the discussion on this resolution. Really, this is used most often if a resolution is being kind of dragged on talking about. It's been a very, very long time, and a lot of people are ready to move on. So we may see this, we may not. It is not as frequently used as, say, someone supporting or opposing. A point of order is something that we say when you believe the rules of order have been broken. And again, not as common, but that's what a point of order means. All right, time for some practice. So for this part, there is a particular way that we need to speak once we're called on, just to follow the formatting of the rules of order. And so say you type in the chat box, speak, because you'd like to speak, and they call on you. It's now your turn. You can unmute yourself, and what you would say is Madam or Mr. So if it's a male or female, you'll say one or the other. So Madam or Mr. Speaker, you'll say your name, and you'll either say on behalf of your school or on behalf of myself. So I'll just go through these really quick. These are the things that we talked about on the previous slide, just to make this a little bit more clear. So let's say it's a male. We'll start with a male. And I'll also start saying that I'm speaking on behalf of our school. It was something maybe we talked about as a chapter, and I'm the one that's going to be talking about it. So, Mr. Speaker, Carissa Teeters, on behalf of Washington State University College of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, I rise in support of this resolution because keep on going. So now let's pretend it was a female that was the moderator, and we would go, Madam Speaker, Carissa Teeters, on behalf of Washington State University College of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, I rise in opposition of this resolution because of XYZ. Now for the next one, I'm going to skip the amendment. Again, this is just to make this presentation really informative on everything, but this is how you would speak, like what you would follow up these phrases with if you would like to make an amendment in the future at a different session. However, for this, we are not amending anything, so I will move on to the final one, and I will be pretending like I'm speaking on just behalf of myself. It's not something that we decided to talk about as a chapter, and so it's just something that I would like to share from my own personal experience. So, Madam or Mr. Speaker, Carissa Teeters, on behalf of myself, I would like to call the previous question. So again, calling the question means we'd like to end the debate on it. All right, we are to the end, and I just have a few bullet points to talk about before we finish up. Whenever anybody would like to speak at the forum, we need to make sure we use these rules to comply with the session expectations. The reason it's so important to use these rules is because if everybody was just shouting out whenever they thought of something or chatting in the chat box, things might get missed or people might get spoken over. So it's a way to prevent, honestly, a bit of chaos that could ensue. So that's why we follow these specific rules, just for fairness and order. A Robert's Rules of Order cheat sheet with basically the information we talked about today and a little bit more that was created by APHA ESP will be attached in this post, so you can download it and save it for during the meeting or for the future. If you have questions before, during, after the meeting, I will be available to you, so feel free to ask me any questions about these rules, about the resolutions themselves, or the process following for voting and for the forum. The Zoom link for the meeting will also be attached above in the post. It's, again, Thursday, December 10th, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Everyone is highly encouraged and welcome to attend. It's a great opportunity. This session is really going to be what's most like what we usually experience at MRM each year. Even if you want to attend and not speak, you're more than welcome to do that. You are welcome to attend and speak if you would like. I will also post all of the resolutions, so you can look at it ahead of time if you'd like to. And yeah, everybody in the chapter is welcome to attend. Voting for our chapter is December 14th through 18th, and we will have a meeting afterwards, after the forum, in the following week to discuss our decisions as a chapter for voting on each of the resolutions. And I will submit them to represent our chapter, whatever we decide. So thank you everybody for watching. I hope to see you in the Regional Policy Proposal Forum. Like I've said, everybody is highly encouraged and welcome to attend. It's going to be a really fun experience and really great opportunity to collaborate with others in our region. So I hope to see you there. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks again.